this Monday, the 6th of October, 2025. Let's start with a look at the top stories.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Police in Kamwenge blocks FDC's Nandala Mafabi from campaigning in Ramwanja Market, advising him to follow the program. The Alliance for National Transformation launches presidential fundraising drive in Western Uganda. Kampala City hit by floods at the onset of the second season rains. While Uganda Premier League side NEC FC get open jersey sponsorship.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Micheal Lukomwa. Elizabeth Nakakoni is a sign language interpreter. Police in Ramwanja Kamwenge district has blocked the presidential candidate for FDC, Nathan Nandala Mafabi, from campaigning inside Ramwanja Central Market, claiming that holding rallies in the markets is not on their program. While addressing vendors who were peeping through the perimeter wall, Mafabi attributed the anger exhibited by police to the poor living conditions.
Where is your venue? What is in the market? Show me your program. What is in the market? Your venue here in our program says the entire Kamwenge. Show me your program.
Police in Ramwanja Kamwenge closed the gate of the central market after detecting that the FDC presidential candidate Nandala Mafabi was heading there to hold a rally. This resulted into the campaign team of Mafabi exchanging words with police, which insisted accessing the market was not in their program.
The venue is up on the other side. Outside the market, not in the market.
What's going to happen? Whether you allow or you don't, we are going to have a rally. I repeat, whether you are
of Uganda and not harass them instead. So my people of Kamwenge, don't be frightened by the presence of those people.
While addressing the people at the entrance of the market, Nathan Nandala Mafabi attributed the anger to the poor living conditions by the police.
Abasirikale baffe tujja kubazimbira amayumba tubaye emisala mirungi abaana baabwe tubasomese kuva primary paka muki ku university. Abaana basirikale benjogerako ba polisi ba prisoni ne bamagye bano abantu baffe bana Uganda bawayo obulamu bwabwe okukuuma ensi yaabwe.
The team first made a rally at Kahunge Trading Center, where the presidential candidate promised to address load shedding and high power carries.
Amazzi ganyogoge amasanjalaze budaka gakola ki gavaako. Amasanjalaze galina okuba buli mu kitundu gatavaako ate ga bbeeyi yawaki ya wansi. Abalala balina amasanjalaze gano naye baba bubi. Abalala bagala babulabe kubanga ne sente zakugateeka mu nyumba zaabwe teziriiwo. Nze njagala kubagamba enti amasanjalaze galina okuba buli wantu ate ga bbeeyi samu. Ky'oba olaba mu manifesto yaffe tuteeseemu enti tugenda kukola ku by'amasanjalaze.
The presidential candidate will conclude the day with a main rally in Fort Portal City.
The Alliance for National Transformation has officially launched a presidential fundraising drive in Western Uganda, marking a significant step towards mobilizing support for General Mugisha Muntu candidature. The presidential fundraising drive campaign aims at engaging supporters, encouraging them to support Muntu.
The Alliance for National Transformation presidential candidate, General Mugisha, has officially launched its fundraising drive in Mbarara municipality. He urged supporters to contribute whatever they can to fuel the party's presidential momentum.
And therefore, those whom we ask to invest into us is for us to prepare ourselves to govern differently from how this country has ever been governed. For us to do so, we must keep on driving this message, walking the people who are in fear out of their fear.
The fundraising drive demonstrates the party's commitment to engage with voters and securing the resources for the ANT party campaigns.
Because we intend to make accountability for the resources we get from the public, without mentioning names, but the figures that we would have raised and how they were used. We would have to make open accountability.
MUNT remains committed to its grassroots approach, focusing on building a stronger party structure and promoting a clean, value-driven politics.
We see the population appreciating our message. It is sinking deeper and deeper. But we also appreciate the challenge that there is, that the people desire to see better governance. But at the same time, they are trapped in a situation which is not of their own making. The regime has systematically broken them down, and many of them would prefer to have a quick solution.
This grassroots approach seeks to build a broad base of support, emphasizing the importance of every contribution, regardless of the size.
Rather than to look at leaders as if they are small gods up there, that you cannot question them. Yet when you pay your taxes, it gives you the right to question anybody, including a president, as to how your taxes are being used. One of the reasons why we are doing this exercise of public fundraising, one, is to enable us reach every part of the country that we are meant to reach. Two, to change the culture of politics in this country. But also for the population to understand who we are.
Anti-campaign has in recent days covered Mitoma, Lubirizi, Ruampala, Shema districts, where MUNT met with local residents. Haruna Mutesasira, UBC News.
NRM supporters from Lango sub-region are in high gear preparing supporters and the city ahead of the visit of the NRM presidential candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. We have details to the story.
The NRM Secretariat has described the first week of President Museveni's campaign trail as a success.
I'm also happy to say that if we talk in terms of turn-up, the turn-up have been massive, and we have got appreciation from all over the world.
Having kicked off the campaigns from Luwero, Museveni hit the ground on Wednesday 1st October 2025 from Lango sub-region.
We have not had any interruption of the traffic, save to the extent that there should be security of the president of the country when he's moving, in times when he has the right of the way. We wanted to emphasize this because some people thought that we are going to have convoys from district to district, something that the presidential candidate himself advised against.
Along the trail, NRM is excited to receive sister party supporters coming in to receive their candidate.
Chairman LC5, who is the UPC, stood up and said, I am going to support President Museveni. Other chairmen in other areas have said so. For us, we are grateful to the leaders of the UPC who are going to support NRM.
In a Molatar, where we had other parties attending, those parties dressed in their color just to say we belong to this party, but we are here to support Museveni, and they came.
The region has 10 districts, including Lira City. Museveni leaves behind 3 more campaign rallies in the region.
Lira City is in the womb of Lira district, so it was just convenient that one rally would sub for both, and it would have been the same day with Kole. But it has been rescheduled. We shall have it later.
The party will now shift its attention to Western sub-region starting this Tuesday 7th October 2025.
For Oyam tomorrow, I'm going there right now with Mr. Jacob to do the drumming up. We have radio stations there. We shall do the drumming up so that tomorrow we have a massive one, because that will be now an exit gate for the president to West Nile.
Folango says the theme of protecting the gains as one which is deserving after the achievements being registered under the leadership of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
We have gained peace and stability. We want to protect it. We have the government so far built roads. We want to sustain it.
Regarding the increasing numbers of students attending the NRM presidential campaign trail, the party sees no harm in this.
But it's not true that we have been having children. Or a deliberate move to ferry children in a lorry, never. Not at all. That a lorry has gone to bring children, not at all. Now, as to violations, whether there's a violation when a child attends, there's no infringement of any law about a child attending, okay? It's not child labor, it's not political torture, it's not anything. A child is free to listen, and a child is free to be imparted either religiously or politically.
Before switching fully to West Nile sub-region, President Museveni will hold a media engagement from Baralege State Lodge on Tuesday 7th October 2025. Robert Nyango, UBC News.
The Uganda Police Force have accused the media fraternity of bias in coverage of the ongoing presidential campaigns. According to police, some journalists have crossed the line into activism by failing to provide balanced reporting for all stakeholders in the election process. Police spokesperson Rusoke Kituma made these remarks while updating the country on the first week of the presidential campaigns.
Police have released a report for the first week of presidential campaigns on operations, including several altercations that took place.
That week one of the presidential elections campaign progressed well, generally. While there were the usual tensions that come with the campaigns, those disagreements were resolved.
Police had devised campaign organizing committees for all presidential candidates to share their schedules with security agencies for proper planning and coordination.
So that when we agree on that route chart, that committee gives you feedback, and if they have given you that route chart, endeavor to follow it.
Police have accused sections of the media of biased reporting, alleging that some media houses have taken on an activist role and are concealing incidents occurring in some candidates' camps.
The other day, an accident occurred. Not a single journalist talked about it. Conveniently avoided it. And an accident was as a result of a procession and irresponsible use of the road with those multitudes of border riders. So when we see that kind of deliberate bias, we act decent and just avoid you.
The public has been cautioned against comparing the policing of other presidential candidates to that of incumbent Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who as head of state is accorded some immunity.
Go and do your own research. What is the extent of security detail befitting of a head of state? That is one. Does a head of state under our laws relinquish power before he becomes a candidate? No. If he doesn't, what happens? Do you slice? Do you reduce his security detail?
Police say investigations have been launched into allegations that some police officers are campaigning for certain presidential candidates, which violates the electoral law.
It is against our code for any officer to engage in campaigning for any political actor.
Meanwhile, police deny having information on the disappearance of two Kenyan activists allegedly in Uganda to campaign for National Unity Platform candidate Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu.
An activist who came to join in a rally in Uganda, and it is alleged that that they disappeared. I am not briefed by police that they have them in our custody. So at the moment, I don't have any information to the effect that they are in police custody.
The two activists, Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, are reported to have entered Uganda via Busia and participated in Kyagulanyi's rally in the Busoga region. They later went missing in Kampala and their whereabouts remain unknown. Abdunasel Lubwama and Regan Ahumuza for UBC.
Severe flooding caused by torrential rains have left Kampala's downtown submerged in deep waters following constructions of a 10-kilometer navigable drainage channel by city tycoon Hamis Chigundu. However, no death has been reported, but property worth millions of shillings has been destroyed along the affected Chisenyi Lane. The heavy rains, which began at around 2:30 p.m. local time, triggered flooding in several areas of Kampala, cutting off roads and paralyzing transportation and business activities. The Uganda Meteorological Services has warned of intensified rainfall across several parts of the East African nation during the current rainy season, which could result in disasters such as floods, landslides, and lightning, potentially leading to loss of life. With that sad one from downtown Kampala, let's take a short break. Thank you for watching. Keep it with us.
Big thing about the MTN Super. Wali yakapia musite wali yakapia. Wali yakapia. MTN kabo the super mustairompia. Then you kabo the smartphone nevi yakabibiona. Wali yakapia. MTN kabo the super mustairompia. Then you kabo the smartphone nevi yakabibiona.
Get the new Kabode Super smartphone and enjoy 16 GB free. Start with a deposit of only 45,000 Uganda shillings and pay the rest in daily installments of less than 1K. You can also make weekly and monthly installments. Together, our vibes are unstoppable. Terms and conditions apply.
MTN.
MTN is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
Two nations, one destination. The Consulate General of Uganda in Mombasa presents the 4th Uganda-Kenya Coast Tourism Conference and Exhibition, a celebration of the intermarriage of tourism between Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, and Kenya, the Pride of Africa. Discover Uganda's adventure, from gorilla trekking and whitewater rafting to Kenya's rich wildlife and world-famous beaches. Delegates from Uganda will enjoy an exclusive fam trip to Kenyan coast from the 22nd to the 26th of October. Even tee off at the golf tournament at Vipingo Ridge on the 25th October, followed by the conference on the 27th to the 28th of October at Ocean Beach Resort and Spa in Malindi. Register today on our website www.thetourismconference.org. Join us and be part of the future where Uganda meets Kenya and Africa shines brighter.
You see, I've been a painter for almost 4 decades, and I have found Global Paints to be very reliable. First, everyone knows we use Global Paint undercoat. Now, for the best results, I continue with Global Paints products. I go for silk vinyl when it comes to the interior. Then Global Matte for the ceiling, and when it comes to weatherproof, I go for Global Weather Coat Emulsion. With that one, the house will never peel. Now, there you have a sparkling, magical-looking house. And then the client is very happy. He recommends me to another person who recommends me to another person who recommended me to come and do the advert.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
UBC News Tonight. In 1963, Uganda adopted a new constitution which abolished the links between the British monarchy. Uganda became a republic within the Commonwealth. However, The new Ugandan state was deliberately referred to as a state rather than a republic, and the constituent native kingdoms such as Buganda continued in existence. As Ugandans gear up to celebrate the 63rd independence anniversary, Timothy Sibasi looks at the state formation in Uganda, whether the British colonial monarchy handed over power to well-prepared people to govern their country. Was Uganda prepared for independence? And what happened thereafter in post-independent Uganda?
The twin challenges of Uganda today are state building and nation building. I repeat that the twin biggest challenges of Uganda is state formation and nation building, because the British did not weave us together into one nation state, hence the challenges we have had since independence. They not also create a strong state based on meritocracy and equality and freedom, and hence the challenges of a weak state today.
On the October 8th, 1962, the Duke of Kent, aboard the British Airways, touched the Old Entebbe International Airport to administer two significant functions assigned to him by Queen Elizabeth of Great Britain. These included handing over vital documents signed between Buganda Kingdom and the British colonial government, and handing over power to the newly elected leaders in what was about to be newly born Uganda, for self-rule to mark the end of the British rule in Uganda. At the airport, the Duke of Kent was received by ceremonial president and Kabaka of Buganda Kingdom, Sir Edward Mutesa, and the Prime Minister-elect in yet was to be the new Uganda in a few hours, Dr. Sir Apollo Milton Obote, whose political party had won the chief executive premier position with power to run government in the post-independent Uganda. The biggest question to many scholars is whether, prior to independence, was Britain still capable of running Uganda?
If you really follow what was going on in Buganda, in the different parts of Uganda, you will see that the colonialists had now failed. They didn't leave because they wanted to give us independence. They left because their scheme of work, their targets, needed now a new approach.
Time check was midnight. The Union Jack flag was lowered down, signifying the end of the 68 years of British rule in Uganda, and the Uganda flag was raised, signifying a newly born Uganda, ready for self-rule.
How much experience do you think Obote had at the time of independence to run a state? How much do you think he parties, the DP, was a little older? The UPC with the ANC coming together, had they really organized leadership to say, we are now ready? When the British withdrew, they didn't go and left us on our own. But in any case, had they prepared us to be able to take over? No. So when they go out and they leave us here, they are still interested in what is going on here.
For us, it was happiness to many Ugandans at the time that Uganda had attained its independence. Professor Kabwejere, then 16 years old in Senior 4, was optimistic about the readiness of the people, that the exiting British colonial government had handed over power to run state affairs and government business in the post-independent Uganda government.
The way Obote linked with Mengo was, Obote was not sure what Mengo was all about vis-a-vis Uganda. Similarly, the Kabaka was not sure about what the new Uganda was going to be.
Barely 2 years of running government in the post-independent Uganda, Prime Minister Dr. Apollo Milton Obote and ceremonial president without executive powers, Sir Edward Mutesa, and Kabaka of Buganda Kingdom were held in confusion of the three lost counties of Bunyoro to Buganda, a dilemma that had been created by the British colonial government and left unresolved. The Lancaster Conference of 1964 had agreed that a referendum be held in 1966 for the people in the lost counties of Kibale, Buyaga and Bugangaizi to vote whether they want to remain in Buganda Kingdom or the counties return to Bunyoro. The people unanimously voted to return to Bunyoro, a decision that Sir Edward Mutesa was conflicted with, to lose the 3 counties back to Bunyoro. Professor Kabwejere described the situation as a setup by the whites to put Obote and Mutesa at headlocks, hence the 1966 crisis.
62 years of pre-independence were not meant to educate Ugandans to take over the state and manage it well. And even after they left, they continue to disorganize these countries. IMF, World Bank, and all these have been organized to disorganize these countries.
The trials of the state formation and nation building had started, and in 1967, Obote abrogated the 1962 post-independent Uganda Constitution, replaced it with the Pigeonhole Constitution, and declared Uganda a republican state. President Mutesa had fled to exile after the 1966 crisis. Obote was running government as a president and the prime minister.
The removal of Obote here by the British were involved. He supported Amin to take over when he was in Singapore. All this was organized. But why? Because a stable former colony would deny them what they were getting, what they would continue to get.
The rift between the Baganda and the Northerners started widening, with internal strives of political power between the West Nileys and the Northerners, and noticed to Obote that his army commander, General Idi Amin Dada, whom Obote had used in storming the Lubiri Palace, leading to the self-exile of Kabaka Mutesa, was the very person planning to remove him in a military coup of 1971. According to Professor Kabwejere, the coup had been financed by foreign powers, majorly Great Britain.
Whether one likes it or not, the Asians who came here, many of them came because of the British organization on the railway, when they were building the railway, when they are getting them to be operatives in the urban areas. So you leave, and the new people are not in control of the economy. So they conflict with the Indians.
With the coming to power of General Idi Amin Dada in 1971, who ruled Uganda for 8 solid years before he was toppled by a coalition of Ugandan rebel groups from Tanzania, supported by President Mwalimu Julius Nyerere Kambarage of Tanzania and Great Britain again in 1979. The country's economy had collapsed. The state had collapsed too. Professor Kabwejere says this symbolized continued interference of foreign powers in the affairs of their former colonies.
During that period, there isn't much that had changed. That's when Obote had all these policies of his, schools, hospitals. But was the economy delivering? Could the money come from the economy to deliver that development program? And even now, the undermining of the state. You look at what is happening in Africa. Coups get... Lumumba was killed by what? By who? What are you talking about? So the issue is not that they handed over the state and then we mismanaged it. We were mismanaged from day one when they came here.
The revolutionary struggles between 1981 to 1986, whereas attempted to address the collapsed economy of 1970s with several economic reforms proposed by the World Bank and IMF, many couldn't be achieved because of leaders who still subscribe to the West.
Those of us who are now in here, they say, I'm a president. President of what country? What economy do you have? What economy do you have? When you have tried to do economy now, do you know what we are looking at now is this 40 years, 30, 40 years of continuity.
Professor Kabwejere says until Uganda stops begging for handouts from Western powers, the country will continue to have leaders that have no focus.
People see corruption simply because Kabwejere has stolen this money here. But we have been robbed by these countries systematically. Do you call that corruption? People will not understand it as corruption. But that's the genesis of it. The economy itself. The economy that was built here and was building. Don't you think when the colonists came here and gave chiefs land in Uganda, wasn't that corruption?
As the country moves to the middle income status, Professor Kabwejere says the sustainability of a self-reliant economy is likely to be affected by the skyrocketing corruption that has penetrated every institution of governance.
Capitalism is when people are accumulating, building houses, building, they must steal. They go and kill people outside there. When they are in America, you take slaves, you grab them, you kill them, you come and build. That's accumulation. Okay? That's capitalism.
Kabwejere reveals that while corruption may be dangerous to nation building, on the other hand, is good for individual development, but blames the vice on responsible institutions of governance for not holding people accountable.
If we don't realize that we are a cub and the lion eats us when he wants, we are going to remain like this for centuries. But fortunately, that can't happen because man, Africa, is waking up.
Set transport to the wrong person. Here's how to reverse it with MTN Mobile Money. Dial *165#. Select My Account. Select Initiate Reversal. You will see your last 3 transactions. Select the transaction you want to reverse. Enter your mobile money PIN and you'll get an SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.
Coffee Spirit, Simba Gin. Coffee Spirit, Simba Gin. Check on down the cup. SMS the code. Wamure virabo. Tulagamani. Karukasita wabuza.
Masaba maji. Masaba maji.
Bikole Masavu near Premier Distilleries. Simply buy Coffee Spirit or Simba Gin. Check under the cap, send the code to 6688 and stand a chance to win border borders, tuk-tuks, cash, airtime, flat screens, mobile phones and a grand prize of 50 million Uganda shillings. This promotion is valid for a limited time only. Terms and conditions apply. Alcohol is not for sale to persons under 18. Please drink responsibly.
Thank you so much for watching, and welcome back from the break. Let's take you to Buza Commissioner, that segment of ours where the Commissioner General of the URA answers questions from taxpayers.
Buza Commissioner.
Welcome once again, our dear listeners, to this week's program of Buza Commissioner. I send you warm greetings from Uganda Revenue Authority. And the first question is from a gentleman called Ime, a landlord in Soloti. And Ime's question, it goes like this. My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? Ime, thank you for this question. Now, in our previous engagements, we have extensively discussed the computation of these taxes. So today, I'm going to be brief and talk about what each tax head covers. Now, rental tax is a form of income tax that is charged from rental income. So if your income is rental, you will pay rental tax. And on top of that, you cannot pay income tax again. But if you have another business that gives you income, you will pay business income tax, not rental tax. So Ime, I would like to imagine that either you have premises where you use some of the premises to run your business, and therefore on your business, not the space you're occupying, but the business you run, whether it is a shop or what, you are paying business income tax. But then the other part of the premises, maybe the building, if it's a commercial property, has several rooms. The other rooms of the business property, you use them out to rent them out, and you earn rental income. That is the only way you will find yourself paying income tax for your business and rental tax for your rental income. Should that not be the case, then you have a right, and I advise you to approach our sorority office where you're located and ask them to deregister you for one of the taxes. Sometimes we make errors during the registration process. You may have ticked a box for rental income, ticked a box for business income, and therefore every period our people expect to receive those two taxes because they are very distinct. Business income tax is for your business, rental income tax is for your rental income. So as long as you do not earn those two incomes, you should only be paying one tax. If you're a property owner and all you get is rental income, please be registered for only rental income tax and pay that. But if you have a business and you also have rental properties, then it makes sense for you to pay both. It is not double taxation, it is taxation for different income.
Buza Commissioner. Now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them.
Thank you so much for watching. That's what we heard for you at this particular moment. Let's catch you at 10 p.m. With more news tonight. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa with Elizabeth Nakakon and the whole team. Let's catch you then.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Each morning, as the sunlight rises here, it pierces through the thick canopy and then quickly ricochets brightly off the mountaintops, revealing a land that seems both timeless, seductive, and mysterious.